Devil is colder in the summertime, so I'll stay.
Hello. Bit of a downer song, I guess, to be honest with you. I wanted something that was kind of chill. That was Devil Town by Cave Town. Or it's one of the mixes. There's like the normal one, and then there's like this one that's like more like acoustic. Um I only recently learned about Cave Town. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. It was either gonna be this or something from the Mountain Goats, honestly. But welcome to the stream. Today I think it might be a one-off. I'm not totally sure. Mostly because I don't believe this game to be particularly long. It's kind of a walking sim. But, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it out. This is, give me a second here. Okay. Game, we good? Oh, I think, is it on stream? That is the question. Is it on the screen? I have set it to capture. It is not capturing. Oh, I don't want to do display capture, though. Great. Amazing. 2 seconds in, we're already fucking it all up. I couldn't be happier. It really does bring... second. Oh, chat. Give me a second. Fucking, I'm silly. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright. Great. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I don't even care. I don't even care if the game doesn't work. It's whatever. It's whatever. I've been told by a person I once knew, a friend, that this is a pretty good game to play as like an aspiring artist or creator. Not sure why, but I'm excited. I hope everything is showing on screen.
Hi there.
Oh.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
Oh, hi.
My name is Davey Reedon.
Hello.
I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Okay.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Oh.
It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
Okay.
And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment.
Is this dust?
But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
Yeah.
And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Cool. Bet.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever.
Okay.
And I think he really understood this image of
I get
himself as a
that.
recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped.
Oh.
In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, And I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com.
I'm not gonna remember that.
Okay, that's about it for introduction.
Oh, damn, I wanted
Let's
to
take a look at Coda's first
look at it
proper
more.
game.
Okay.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Kind of don't want to talk over him, but I wanted to talk a bit about that. I could see some concepts of like an understanding of like Counter-Strike level design a little bit. I feel like there was too many like, you know, I don't want to like look too much into that because like obviously that's just like a bunch of, it looks more like he was just playing with a map editor for Counter-Strike. And like kind of just grabbing chunks and tossing them together. But, you know, everything kind of starts that way, right? Like, you're just learning the skills. What's this? Oh! Jeez! Oh. There's no sound.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Alright. Sounds good. I guess light? I'm out of ammo. I just used all my ammo. I'm very silly. Oh no. I really hope I don't die to an enemy. It's giving me Halo vibes.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
I don't have ammo. I cannot fight
It
the
kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Oh, okay, so he
But
noticed that
ultimately,
too.
we don't
Cool.
really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shift evacuation.
Okay, well, I mean, this is kind of just a generic spacey shooter. I'm curious about Whisper Machine.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Wait, what? Okay, that's funny. That's okay. The concept of naming something Whisper Machine is neat. Like, what? Why do you call it Whisper? Like, I think names are cool. You know, I feel like names are really cool. As long as they have like a good. Oh, okay, there's dots in the wall. As long as like there's a bit of a meaning to it, kind of. Like obviously, okay, duh. Name no skybox? Apparently not. It's just all a big blob. But you know, that's kind of nonsense. Yeah, of course, like names mean things. But I like words. I like wordplay. Curious what maybe his idea of what the Whisper Machine was. Oh no.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Wait, no, I want to look at it. No, I want to look at it. I want to look.
Or if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
This is just Halo. Dog, this is literally just Halo. Like, let's be real here. I don't know if any of you remember playing Halo 1. I got lost. Like, I know Pillar of Autumn, it's like, it's not hard to navigate, right? Like, I understand that, inherently. But, like, some of the hallway sections where it's just darkness, I distinctly have memories as a kid. Oh, crap, I'm lost. It's fine. I'll figure out. I'll solve it. What the hell is this? What the hell are you? But, like, I distinctly remember as a kid, in Halo 1, there is these sections on the Pillar of Autumn where you would find yourself lost in, like, not lost, it would force you into, like, these little black hallways, and I remember my TV brightness being really low, and I distinctly remember having an issue of, like, I couldn't figure out where I was going because it was so dark, even with, like, I don't know if that game had a flashlight button. If it did, I was probably too much of a stupid kid to remember to press it. But I remember, like, shooting in the dark to try and, like, find my way around. It did? Okay, well then I was probably a silly kid, but I distinctly remember... Actually, no, I remember the flashlight. I just had a hard time getting around because everything looked so damn similar, and if you look away for even a second and you're still, like, moving and pressing WASD, or in this case a controller, or in that case a controller, you're suddenly lost, like I am right now. But the good news is, we can always just do the classic touch a wall and make your way out strategy of mazes. That's what I'm guessing he was probably going for here. If he was a Halo fan, he was probably thinking of something like that. Or like, maybe, okay, another idea. You guys know how... Did I solve it? I don't think I solved it. I'm gonna go back through. I'm gonna ride the wall the whole way through, just for the sake of talking about Halo a little bit in this level. Another idea he could have had, honest to God, is okay. This is gonna be a bit of like my abstract thinking, right? But I've always thought, like when you're playing a game, you know how like a lot of people talk about like the movie-fication of a game, kind of. Oh, this isn't hard. I found, yeah, this was where I was. Okay, this isn't a hard labyrinth at all. There's a lot of like fake turns. Like this is bullshit. That, well, this isn't. Yeah, this is also bullshit. It's like you could probably cut this into like an H-type shape, probably. But like, yeah, I distinctly remember like when I think of movies and I think of scenes and like what you want like your player to think, you know, like those like tense parts in action movies where like it's a guy running down like these like spiraling hallways and he's trying to like get his way through as fast as he can. I'm describing a very loose concept, but I can see that being like the feeling that you want to go for with like this. It feels more like he just laid it out and never actually, obviously he never finished it, but he laid it out specifically so that the player could like have that intense feeling of running through this sprawling facility. And also, despite this being a really small maze, it makes the area feel bigger. Granted, it is kind of annoying as a result. Oh, oopsie, I fucking flicked my nose. It is kind of annoying to navigate as a result. Because mazes kind of suck, but inherently,
okay,
cool idea.
This is the part that's interesting.
To make like a
The
smaller
game has
area
this
bigger.
narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay, bet.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
No, actually. Can I leave? No? I'm guessing I don't have a choice. Oh, well, I'm locked in. Alright. Bet.
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. Let me pause here for a second. What
It's
you
not
just
Halo, Fallout
experienced,
3.
stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Bro takes a nap? Oh. Oh. What happens instead? What? Huh? Oh. Yeah, see, that wasn't a really big maze at all. Like, I technically solved it.
The
so-
beam causes you to start floating.
Okay, cool.
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I can get that. You know, before I move and continue. Oh, hi. But, like, I can get that. The whole, like, you do something, right? And, like, you fuck something up, and then you learn something, and you're like, actually, I liked this thing about how I fucked up. Like,
So try walking backwards.
okay.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, I wasn't even pressing W! Oh, okay. I was wondering if I accidentally triggered something. Oh, okay, cool. That's like a whole happy accidents. Yeah, so like... Woo! So like, yeah, like I was saying, I found when I made like my first painting, right? My first few paintings when I got into painting, I definitely found out that like there were some things I was bad at and some things I was good at. Sorry if I went quiet, I'm looking at them. And I've kind of experimented from there with just kind of concepts. A lot of my paintings that some people have seen are kind of like, they usually have like a focal point in the center, you know, stuff like that. I have a fascination with weird, dark things, but not like dark in the edgy way, just dark in like a weird way. Or even if I walk it away from paintings, when it comes to like, when I first was like making like videos and whatnot, I have them on my channel, but I've delisted them. I definitely like experimented and found like, oh, okay, here's like a sense of humor I kind of like. Oh, here's an informative thing I kind of like. There's definitely something to be said about, even when I did like my writing and whatnot, you know, just kind of finding where I am in a. Okay, this is weird. Of course, I don't like moving ass first all the time. But the future.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
Why does the future keep changing?
It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to open this door? To confront it? Whoa.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
Sorry, I'm just gonna quickly change the bitrate. For some reason, my bitrate, I'm dropping frames like a motherfucker, and there's no reason for that to be the case. Don't know why that's happening. I kind of like the idea of just making something for a little thought experiment, though. Like, that's cool. I've definitely, like, when I wrote Under, which, I'm kind of talking, I'm talking, but assuming an understanding of what I'm talking about, which if you don't, that's absolutely okay. Don't feel like you're missing anything too much about my own little creations and ideas. But when I was writing Under, which was like this big idea I had for like, hold up, stream, output, encoder settings. Let's drop down to 1500 kilobytes again. No, not 2500, 1500 kilobytes per second. And we'll make this preset here and apply. Okay. That's better, I think. I'm still dropping frames, but let me double check my settings. Yep, okay, well, I got it down. Okay. We gotta be doing better now. But yeah, I remember distinctly when I was writing Under, a lot of the ideas I came up with for this like fantasy tech world thing I had were very like weird little ideas. They were kind of little simulacrums of themselves. Like I had this idea of this one, so a broad concept of Under, basically super far in the future, humanity nuked themselves, they move underground, and there's these different like new sort of beings that come up, not just humans. Humans are actually kind of a villain faction. Imagine Adeptus Mechanicus from Warhammer, like super technology focused zealots kind of thing. And then there's like another form of humanity that is more our like human mole people, which I called the Stitch folk. Which, by the way, I officially hate the thing of calling things like X-kin or X-folk for like your like different races and such. I just think that's really fucking boring. Maybe it's just because I've seen it so many times. It doesn't mean the ideas are boring. It just means that you need to work harder on the name. But like the Stitch folk were like these humans that had like this advanced form of leprosy, and what would happen is as they would fall apart, their original parts would reject to be reattached, but other people's parts would be perfectly fine. So what you would have is like a person with like different skin tones, or like a really burly arm and then a really feminine leg and stuff like that. The idea was that like it kind of asked for these people to create a community in order to trade their parts when their parts came apart. Otherwise, they would just fall apart alone. And also, it would be like there's no real ethnicity to them. They're all kind of just the people of the people. It wasn't a super deep concept, I don't think, but it was an interesting one. And the whole thing of Under was just little simulacrums of ideas like that. So another idea I had were like these sort of like mold people. They were very much like plants, but they had different smaller plants growing off them. Imagine like basically a walking flower bed. And these plants that grew off them, they felt that they had a connection to. And if you were to come along and pluck a flower off, it'd be like killing a relative kind of thing. It would hurt them a lot, like emotionally and physically. Or not even just in the people, in like the monsters. I had an idea of this one creature that I called a Willy. So you know Steamboat Willie, which is like little animation with like Mickey Mouse on a steamboat. I had this idea of like, well, this kind of required like a huge body of water, which was what inspired like the underground sea. Wasn't a concept, but the idea of a Willy was that it was this like reptile creature that that effectively used its back to mimic like a steamboat or like a vessel of some kind. So like a shell. So imagine like a turtle alligator hybrid. That shell was shaped and kind of looked a lot like a boat of sorts. Or I had another idea. Maybe I took that and it's just they used old boats as shells. And I called them Willies just because of like the Steamboat Willie thing. I thought Willie was a funny name and it was interesting. Steamboat Turtle. Yeah, exactly. I just called them Willie though because I thought it was a goofy sounding name. It was kind of a callback to a thing, and also just because it was a unique name. And also like you ever heard someone get scared? It's like, oh, that gave me the willies. It's like, oh, well, there's a Willie. Or I had like, in terms of towns and places, one town I had was like it was built on this place. It was like it was built on this factory, a ceramics factory that prior to all of this, like way before, focused on making like garden gnomes, right? At this point, humanity had created technology that could kind of just create resources. I never really organized the science on it, but basically this was a ceramics manufacturer, and this whole town was built around this one ceramic facility that had, despite like being driven underground and like millions of years passing, somehow was still running. And the idea of this town is that it was like adventurers and people that wanted to go out into the world would pilgrimage to this town because they had a challenge where it was like people would say it's like a coming of age kind of thing where like if you really want to take on the world, you have to go into the ceramic factory and get a gnome out. But everyone would call it like a gnome or something like that because language had been butchered. So the town was like called Gnomesville or some shit. Yeah, no, that wasn't based on the gnome joke, but it was still kind of funny. And the idea was like either for like the writing for the world I had or for the D&D campaign style that I had designed, because I also designed like a D&D campaign in this world, a few like one-shot ideas. The idea here would be that they would enter the facility and like there would be robots that, you know, the people of the town would like fix up and whatnot to kind of be like a fake combat scenario, and they would have to reach the end and fabricate a gnome and bring it back, and then that would be like their coming of age sort of story. And then I had an idea if I wanted to turn up the heat that maybe something goes wrong with the robots and like they go more lethal, and maybe something happens inside the facility. Some like turning on the old security system in an accident, something like that. There's a lot of like Under was a, and maybe still is. I don't know if I'll ever truly finish it. It was a simulacrum of ideas I would just have some days, and I'd write down, and I would just make this giant compendium. And I had this huge writing idea thing that I just never did, and I felt really guilty about that. Sometimes I still do, but I put a lot of work into making it. This thing, and I like this thing, and maybe one day I'll return to it. Maybe I won't. I don't feel too bad about it, but I liked these ideas because they felt pretty original, and they felt like they had meaning to me. And I feel like I can understand that concept in Backwards, where it's like you just came up with this thing on your own. That was just this little idea that you spinned out.
Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Oh, come on. I don't want a spooky game. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't want a spooky game. You're now entering? What if I was leaving? Guys, I'm scared. I'm shook, Paint. What?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. Alright.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
What?
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, I appreciate that you understood my desire to be over here, but I'm gonna go over here too. I hope you realize that. I don't mean to insult Coda's game, but like I have to. Like, that looks like there's something behind it. Like, there's gotta be like a clown or a goblin. No? Okay, well, you know, I tried. But yeah, it's a nice chill experience. Okay, calm down, evil spirits. We really don't gotta blow this all out of proportion. Alright. Okay, well, I tried. I should go into the block. Oh, I remember this game. I'm guessing you played it before, Paint? That's cool. It's a cool game so far. I'm kind of just using it as like just talking about creation and stuff. I was told by someone that this would be a good game for me because of how I fixate and make my big creations and then stop partway through the idea. You know? Kind of like the Fallout thing. I don't know if that'll ever come out. I hope it does, but it's okay if it doesn't. Can you guys calm down for like 10 fucking seconds? It's really not that big. You don't gotta be this upset. Oh.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why,
It was open
if Coda's
before,
not
though.
showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. I don't want to do that, though. You know? I hope you guys don't mind the slow crawl up the stairs. But I kind of want to experience it that way, just a little bit. I'm glad that he gave me the option, and he did not force it upon me. Does jumping make it faster? Wait. Did you just push me? Did you just push me? I'm like 99% sure he just pushed me. Did anyone else see that? I really like how you stack the odds against yourself, makes things more challenging. Yeah, challenging. I mean, you know, the odds aren't that stacked. I feel like I know where that quote's from, but I feel like I can't remember it. I'm scared that this is a new Vegas joke. Oh yeah, that's from Yes Man. If you blow up all the robots, I think. Like if you blow up all the robots under Hoover Dam, and he's like, "Oh, well, we could have used those, but I guess you don't need them." I don't know. I personally believe Yes Man has some amount of autonomy in his head. Like, yes, he might just obey you because you're there, but I feel like there's something more to Yes Man's. Like, okay, so Yes Man was programmed by a follower of the apocalypse, so I don't expect him to be truly, like, evil in any way. But Yes Man is also, like, I don't know. I've always thought of him as a character who is, like, if you left him to his own devices for too long, something would go wrong. Whether it being, like, the result of someone else finding him and influencing him after you, because, like, what stops anyone from doing that, technically? Or, I don't know, when he's just kind of, he is physically incapable of disagreeing, but he's going to think it really hard. That is true, but, like, why specifically you? What happens when you leave? It's implied the courier leaves at the end, so what does he do? Like, it implies that, like, he listens to what the courier said, but he's up in the Lucky 38. Someone's gonna get up there eventually. Who's to say someone else doesn't get up there and influence him as well? He can't just be your friend. There's something up with it. Like, and also keep in mind, it was made, like, that program was made under, like, some form of duress from Benny. So as a result, it's like, there's gotta be something wrong with that thing. And personally, leaving Yes Man with a bunch of robots at his control is probably the worst thing you could probably do. Especially because it's implied the courier leaves at the end. You could headcanon yourself staying and all that, right? You can headcanon a lot of shit. But, like, if you look at the ending, I don't like the idea that Yes Man sticks around with that. Not that choosing to do anything otherwise is, like, somehow better. Like, you know, I feel like making decisions based on an ending that you know is going to happen kind of ruins part of the charm of it. Anyway, we finally got up these stairs. But yeah, it's hard to imagine, like, role-playing a scenario where you do that when the ending says you walk away. I don't know. Can I get in here, please? We're almost there. We're, like, in the door. Come on. We are inside. I don't know why we gotta keep going this slow. Okay, Coda, where's the part where I'm not slow anymore? Coda, please. Okay, Coda, your point, whatever it was well made. I am in. You walk around talking to people, pressing a key in one game unlocks a door in a separate game. A series of lavish manuals come with the game, giving you incorrect instructions. You are a gate. You start in a small room until you realize you can just walk through walls. A game of only motivational
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
A button you press to stop the chaos that doesn't work. You are the queen, dusting your jewelry.
Coda would often tell me that he
That's you
didn't
to
mind if
surrender.
people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
I get that. I've been told I'm not, like, an asshole by people, but it's also kind of hard to know that. I feel like I come across as a relatively nice person. I've been told by people that I'm nice and charismatic and all that stuff. I don't want to, like, say that out loud, though. The problem with self-acknowledgement is it gets dangerously close to sucking your own dick, and that's kind of fucking awful. I can say I'm creative and I'm working all this stuff, but the more you say something, the less it really matters. It's hard to... And there is a level of, like, you gotta give yourself some grace, but I can't help but feel like sometimes I just... I don't know. It's hard to... It's hard to do. And... sometimes I know I come off as, like, really eccentric and weird. I don't think I come off as, like, how much self-love can I give before it comes autofellatio? Exactly. Which the answer is like, I think the answer is actually breaking through the fear and being like, if you really were just sucking yourself off and glazing yourself at every given moment and being like that much self-absorbed to like a negative degree, you probably wouldn't be aware of it. That's the one thing I've learned, I think, in life, is just kind of like, anytime you're like, but what if I do this? 99% of the time, if you're aware of something you could fuck up, you're probably not going to fuck it up. And if you do, it's probably like, that was probably beyond your control in the first place. And when it comes to internal things, I don't think that really happens. I think good people recognize that you're fine. I've seen VTubers do it a lot, a comical amount, strictly for the bit, like sucking themselves off to like an extreme degree. Yeah. I don't know if I would like that, even as a comical bit. Like, I think I used to do that back when I had a different persona online a long time ago. But that hollows you out, I feel. Even if you know it's a bit, it kind of hurts you a little bit. Every now and again, I'll still do it a bit, but I don't know. Paint yourself as a hot shit in order to fail later is funny to watch. To be fair, I guess maybe I do that somewhat, but I don't know if I do it all the time. I don't know. I might be missing the mask of the creator and like myself. One thing with autism that I've learned about myself is that sometimes it's hard for me to figure. So everyone has like modes when they interact with people. You don't do that though. I've just seen it done like that. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like, there's always like this weird thing where it's like I want to like do this content creation thing and I have to like acquire a certain mask and persona. I feel like, I hope I mean, it's so early on, it's really hard to say what comes of anything. Maybe this is just like these games and all these streams just get archived somewhere forever and I die and they just outlive me. But I always wonder how the fuck I'm going to be me doing stuff like this. I always wondered it when I did drawing, when I do painting. When I tried really hard at fighting games and tried to do like tournaments for stuff, when I tried to be a TF2 player, when I tried to like do magic and whatnot. You are recording these VODs, right? Yeah, of course I'm recording these VODs, SoundThink. I have them all on my computer. I am recording them. And this one is an important one to record, especially for me. But yeah, I always like try to like figure out where like the me begins and the thing ends. That's a hard thing to do sometimes. If I ramble a lot this stream, that's kind of why. But I definitely feel the idea of like, man, you have so many ideas and a lot of them just languish somewhere, but that's okay. Maybe creating them was important. I'd like to think, although I never finished Under, writing it was important to me. The ideas were. They still stick in my head. Hell, I don't even know if I really wrote down the full idea of the Willies before. Or, actually, I never wrote down the whole idea of that gnome town before. But it's still in my head. I'm kind of glad about that. Even if no one really gets it, or if no one would appreciate it later. I'm glad that I had an idea. It feels good. It's time to go fish.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay. Alright, so what pieces do I have? So I open the door. It's a big, dark hall. Okay. Cool, okay.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Okay. The solution is going through and you might lock yourself in, but that's okay. Wait, what the fuck? It's the dots again. And I'm noticing from over here, it's like differently colored, so it's a separate texture file. I'm guessing this is like a mark of his. I saw that on the spaceship. Can I shut the door? No.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Well, what? I didn't even press enter. I pressed E.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role...
Melorine, this is called The Beginner's Guide. It's made by the same guy that did Stanley Parable. Basically, he had a friend who made a bunch of games that he never released. They're like little tiny things. And he kept them to himself. And this is him re-releasing them. His friend's name is Coda. And he's kind of explaining what these are and like what he thinks they represent and whatnot. And I'm kind of using this VOD to kind of also talk about myself and other stuff. Oh, that's why it gave Stanley Parable vibes. Yeah, the narrator created Stanley Parable, but these are all games by his friend, apparently. So I'm just kind of using this to talk about creation and stuff. I was told by someone that this would be a game I would really appreciate for as a creator of lots of things.
here is not to understand, then what is it?
Wait. You are now exiting. It said you are now entering, and now it says you are now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Okay. Everything's kind of sloped around here.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
You also didn't think he was telling the truth, you thought it was an ARG. I could see this being revealed as being an ARG thing, but I don't know. Even if it was, I like this idea of a person that's, you know, just made these. This is reminding me of another thing that I've seen Source do well. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking of, like, Portal, but, like, Source is really good at, like... Oh, nice, I made it. But nothing in here. But, like, Source is really good at, like, doing these weird mind bends. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a personal, like, nostalgic thing with, like, weird Garry's Mod maps, but, like... Even in TF2 and stuff, Source has funny ways of, like... doing weird shit. could just fall, right? But I don't want to do that. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. No, okay, we're fine. Whoop. Boom. Bing. Bop. Boom. Whoa. Oh, shit. Okay, I took damage. I don't think I can die from fall damage here, but I saw my screen shake, which implies damage. I guess I jumped for the gray one. Actually, I think I just dropped. Oh, don't miss, don't miss, don't... No! Did not matter. Did not matter. It's all kind of... Oh, it's like a tube. It all funnels down here. I kind of figured it wouldn't matter, but wanted to try anyway. This is just open. But I'm gonna take the stairs as intended. There's like a tube in the middle. I can't get under the stairs or anything. Where was this? What? What was that noise? I want to see if I can find another one of those marks. The 3 dot marks. 'Cause I've noticed that like twice. It's got to be around here. Or maybe it was back in the building. It's like a... something... It's like something between a prison and like a cattle pen? What's that noise? Ah! What? Oh, oh. What? But I don't want to be in prison. But it's not giving me a choice.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Okay, I'm curious. Nah. Oh, wait, no, I wanted
This
to...
is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else.
Get fucked.
Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a...
How's that for your playable game?
There wasn't.
I guess the only thing that would kind of suck is that if I have to sit in there for an hour, I have no indication that the door would open eventually. But I guess if you told me it was going to open in an hour, then like, what's the point of locking me in there? I can just get up and walk away. It doesn't really make me forced to sit, but I can also just close the game at any time. I kind of have to agree. If not playable, at least something to tell you. But it's kind of like a filter then. It demands a certain person pay attention. Oh, the 3 dot. But that's the interesting thing, right? You know, when you make something, I feel like when you make something as a creator, you kind of want a certain audience, a certain person to say, that's cool, I enjoy that. But like, I can completely see, like, you know, realistically speaking, a lot of people are going to look at your thing. If you're like an online commentator, it doesn't matter if you assume... I remember an old fucking YouTube person, a political one. I don't watch political YouTubers that much anymore. He made a point that, like, you should never assume your audience is all the like-minded smart people that you think agree with your points. You should assume 90% of them are drooling idiots. And that's kind of true for a lot of things. Maybe drooling idiots is a bit too negative a term, but the idea is the same. You can't expect that something is going to be received by everyone in the way you want. So you do one of two things. You accept that and create what you want anyway, and if it alienates a lot of people except maybe the select few, possibly none, then that's fine. Where's the point making something if there's no one around to enjoy it? That's also it, too. It's kind of like a one or the other. If so few to possibly no one is going to enjoy it, why bother? But then I think about stuff like my underwritings. I never finished it. I guess I could finish a small thing for people
It's
to
the
enjoy.
puzzle again, with the exact same solution
But-
as the last time.
I guess the idea is just like, how did you feel after you finished? Did you feel good? It's kind of hard to really say. One of the things that I've come across when I do my streams and like this whole content creation thing that I'm delving into is that, like, I want people to enjoy it and hear what I have to say, but I don't really know if anyone will, besides like the fair few people here, maybe. Just gets me thinking, you know?
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Creation's a weird thing that way. Something about not being able to go back, about wondering... I don't know. This room is so much different from the other one. In the last time we saw this puzzle, the ledge had a different color on it. The door was different. It could be like literally shutting off this old idea and going into the next one. Like, that transition might represent, like, I want these to be an experience together, but these are the fragmented pieces. So I'm just going to put one fragment, then the next fragment, and I'll use this as an intermediary, like the black fog between the ideas, and maybe I'll fill it in with something. Or maybe not. The ideas are connected, but I can't find the connection. That's kind of how I felt with, like, Under and other creative pursuits.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? I prefer not to tell you, after all, we only just met. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. One's not true. The last thing I did before coming here was walking down here. Maybe if I use the logic that the ideas are connected, but there's a fog between the two. Maybe I don't literally remember that. I'm gonna go as 2. You don't? But how did you get here? The puzzle is the only way. Wait, yes, I did solve it. I'm the champion of solving puzzles. I can go anywhere I please. I don't remember how I got here. There are other ways in and out. Well, I guess they did confirm that the puzzle actually exists here, so... Yeah, no, I did solve it. No, you can't. You weren't on the other side at all. You have no idea what is on the other side. You cannot help us escape this prison. You are not the one I need. Surely there will be someone else. Oh well. I had an idea of logic. Maybe I overthought. Wait. Again? How did he get here? Was there a puzzle he had to pass through? No, I've been right here this entire time. Wait. You didn't specify the puzzle type. No, I've been here the entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. Why would I sit in the black space? Oh, it's plenty peaceful. It may not seem that way at first, but you'll come to think so in time, eventually. I kind of did try a little bit, but not for long. Will it keep looping until you find the one they're looking for? Oh, they can't solve it on their side. Yeah, exactly! Because they're on the wrong side of the door, because all they can do is just pull the switch and shut it. They can't actually leave.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
But now I can't leave. Am I any different from them then? Just because I know. I know there's a world above. They know there's a world above. They know how the puzzle works, wouldn't they? If they got down here. How else did they get down here? Are they descendants of people that came down here?
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay, I get that. You can only make something for yourself for so long. If you're just making things, you have to have a connection. It's kind of like the same idea. Sorry, burping. That makes sense to me. Like, I can only really make game reviews and do little things like that for so long. I want it to lead to a thing. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Well, that's not true. There's no way. Nice room, not. I don't think that's true. Somehow I don't think this is true at all.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet.
Yeah.
All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Creation really does kind of do that, you know, when you make something, you put yourself into it. So when you look at someone's creation, you kind of get something about them, however small. I can get that. You know, when I do game stuff, it's just like my reactions to games, but you can pick up something about a streamer or a person through that. I'm just gonna skip through these a little bit. And, you know, when it came to things like Under, when it came to making the New Vegas thing, and I had ideas and whatnot, and I had like an idea for like the New Vegas video, I had this idea of a narrative of each of the endings have a different character that I would roleplay through to help kind of show things like how different people would react to the game, how like different... not faking it. How different people would react to the game, how different playthroughs were, how the different combat systems work, and all these other things. Or like, it's about how this game is pretentious and y'all suck. Fucking, my brain got disconnected there. Oh, yeah, like, I had like these ideas on how like I could just show, you know, I feel like when I had all of these ideas working towards something so that someone could, like, look at them and appreciate them, it was fun. It's not unfun.
At the end
enough,
of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Found the dots again. But yeah, sorry for my rambling, but it's also like I have all these ideas that I want to show people to like get people to understand, like, I don't know,
in each of his games,
my opinions on
after
things.
Exploring a theme that, you know, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
But yeah, just to try and finish my thought, sorry. But like, you know, you create something, you communicate part of yourself through it, so that when someone plays through it, they get it. If someone watched my Fallout video, they would get how I feel about Fallout, and how I feel about the writing, and how I feel about the world. If I completed Under, maybe people can understand my ideas about peace, and about conflict, and relationships, and stuff. It's amazing how much stuff you write in your head, or write down, and no one really will see it or know.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Was that there before? I don't know. Oh God. Hello? Ha!
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kinda just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay, bet. I'm sorry if this stream is a bit weird. I don't expect all my streams to be this way, but I kind of wanted to just have this moment with this game and kind of just talk thoughts out loud, you know. Worst case scenario, I might upload this to the YouTube. I don't know. Maybe it'll be too long. Maybe
this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway.
Wait,
Except
hold
for
up.
some reason,
That's the
Coda
thing from
gets
back
really
there.
fixated
Wait.
on this prison that has all of this modern furniture.
I
And I
saw
don't know
that
why,
back
but
there.
He decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay. What furniture ought to be in the center of the room? Well, you can't put a TV in the center. You can't put a fridge. Fuck it. Put a giant hole in the ground. That's not... Okay, now. I guess that's kind of a hole, kinda. Technically. Let's put a huge painting of a horse along the wall. Well, a huge painting of a horse would make sense. But does my opinion matter? Light up this room a bit. We got a lot of natural light. Skylight, full ceiling. Let's open this baby up. I think a 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch skylight. Why not? More natural light. This natural light's good. Okay, well that's not natural at all. And a table. You need a table. We have a table right there. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? The wall's covered. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Whoa.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
This is like... This is a maze. Wait.
So, okay,
Whoa.
he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Oh, okay. This guide will enable you to escape any in-prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. There's the dots again! Boop. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Wait. Is he OCD? These are all nonsensical things. Why would he feel this is necessarily a prison? Now go to the left side sofa and move it a little. This is reminding me, actually, when I was growing up, my mom would always want to change furniture in the house. And it would be like this huge endeavor where everyone would have to get involved. And it was a whole day of misery. And it was really awful and annoying and a lot of yelling. The light's fading a bit, isn't it? Finally touched the shells. I remember hating that a lot growing up. There was a lot of things she did that I hated. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Table, painting, lamp, couch, shelf. But, like, maybe it's for my mom, I think it was just a control
And of
thing,
course,
but...
now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of
Wait,
events to
yeah,
escape.
wait.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
Okay.
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea.
What?
There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you
That's
just
his way
go,
out.
Maybe there are game ideas other than this
Wait.
prison that I could be working on. But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going.
I get this so
And
much.
then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
No, I hate spirals. I get it. It still happens a lot to me. I think the frustrating thing about spirals is when you feel like you're finally over it, but you're not. It's okay, though. I try not to think about it. Maybe one day, you get out. Maybe the spiral exit is just another spiral. Be it, like, a creative one or, like, an emotional one. It frustrates me a lot when I get stuck in it, because I feel like I stopped a loop, but it still goes. I guess maybe the secret to that is not to... I don't know. I can't go over there. I guess maybe the secret to that is to just kind of accept that you try. Though that is a hard acceptance. Wait, my camera's locked. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Feels like completely still and wild. Strange, but in a way I kind of miss being in prison. Actually, I do that sometimes. Like, I don't know. I remember I talked to a doctor about this before. I also have talked to a counselor about it. I have this not a bad habit inherently, although it could be bad sometimes, of like externalizing my thoughts too much. Sometimes when I used to get really, really drunk, people would describe it, or my one friend would describe it rather, as my ego and id talking to myself. Self-soothing behavior. I've gotten better at not doing it under pressure because I find that it actually only stresses me out more, and I just buckle down and focus. Talking to myself like that actually made it worse. But I still have internal dialogues that are not stress related. Talking to myself about underwriting and ideas, or talking to myself about my stream ideas. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll write a script in my head for an idea of something and just talk it out. Just saying the words out loud and feeling my mouth moves is good. Something like that. How long has it been since you got out? Not too much shit I shouldn't be talking about, mostly family stuff. Yeah, pretty much that. Also, another thing with the alcohol thing, I haven't done that in a while, but like, aside from the alcohol talking out loud, it's also like talking out loud in general is still something I do if I'm just stressed, or even if I'm not stressed. Sometimes I just do it. I worry because sometimes people hear me and I'll say weird shit and then they look at me weird and I get self-conscious. But, you know, I just like saying words. I like words. Only a few minutes, but somehow it's already fuzzy. Kind of like it never happened. How could you possibly forget it? You don't ever forget it. You just stop identifying with it. I think it can seem infinite when you're drenched in it. What if you're me? Then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first person to call back. But can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? Just talk with me for a bit. What? That will free me? How does that work? Look, I can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? I will be here as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is going to be a longer stream.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent
I'll be here as long
Coda's
as you need.
puzzle,
Ha!
with the two doors on
Nice
either
callback
side
sounds.
and a dark transitional space between.
What? Oh, I didn't. I should have gone up more. Someone spilt something on the table. Oh my goodness! I'm glad as heck that you showed up. Though thought I might have to clean this entire house by myself. Right, Miss Bill, that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up.
Don't
from
worry
previous
about
games,
me. I played
including
this
this
myself,
new and
so
improved chat system, which he started using from this point on.
I just might begin.
From
to
here on
hate
out,
yourself
he
there
begins
now.
putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Okay. How'd you end up doing this job? Sometimes I feel like cleaning my own room is similar. It's weird. Sometimes you feel like you can clean anything else, right? I've considered, like, sorry, like, cleaning up a friend's house. Sometimes I'll just grab a broom and I'll just sweep it up. Or scrub it down. Sometimes you think, oh, this is so easy, you can just get this done. Sometimes when I stay at my one friend's house, I'll, you know, load up the dishwasher and whatnot, even though I don't have to. Just, you know, to help out. But then you look around your own space and you're like, what a mess. How did you get this? Why don't you just clean it up? I couldn't tell you why. I just know that I don't. Make it... Yeah, I'll try to get by. Yeah, sure. Sometimes you just... Sometimes it's hard doing your own things. Maybe it's because you kind of confront yourself with how little you do.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
And sometimes I think, you know, maybe it's something to do with the fact that when you look at your friend's place, or I look at my friend's place, it's easier to, like, break it all down. But when you look at your own, you kind of just get filled with being upset that it happened in the first place. Do these chores ever end, though? Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So don't leave me with a task at hand. Leave the future chores. Presents you once. Believe it or not, trust me on this one.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
That's pretty cheesy, but there's a bit of truth to it. Can I do it through the wall? No.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace. But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Because nothing really works that way. It never gets to just be fixed. Or maybe it does, but I don't know, things get complicated again. And then you're back outside. It's not a happy feeling, but you know, it's not the worst. You get used to it. I get it.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it. This one gets a bit goofy.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'd show up to something like this. Whoa, what? Okay. And you may find yourself in a prison. Oh. Perfection is okay. Okay.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
On the way to work.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
I still love you. It's just that you make me feel cold inside. Being alone must be awful. Let me tell you right now, it isn't effortless, and it's not the right answer. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. It's not hurting my life. If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. If you're torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. You understand that you won't be happy until you love me. It's you. I'm developing a cyst growth. Seek out only one thing. What is easy, as simple as pass forward. I get the idea, like what you're saying, but there's no truth, there is no path. I don't want to do X. Just kidding. I'm not a good teacher. Holy shit, you guys. Something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out. Wait, why are you listening to me? It's coming. It's. Run! Everyone run!
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
And you may and you may ask yourself, how did I get here? And the days go by. I'm playing beginner's guide. Oh no, not the prison.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Ooh! I mean, I kind of should have expected that, but it was just so loud. The performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Okay. Okay. To succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello? Well, like, that's how you start one. Yeah, I'm doing that. You're not letting... I'm trying. Okay, do it again. I'm super scared. I don't like any of these options. I get this, though. I understand feeling like, oh, how do I talk to people? It's so easy. Just walk up to them and press A, but the problem is all my prompts are bad. I get this so much. I tell people all the time where it's like I have a hard time talking. Just do it. And I know that this is... I get the feeling Coda is probably, like, frustrated with himself because I get being in this situation. It is easy to talk to people. It's just kind of hard sometimes. And the problem is that you remember all the sometimes and not when it's not. That's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need to feel a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props. These cones bounce when you touch them and represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. Oh. You must have worked really hard. I'll bet you learned to lean into the pain. What are some sacrifices you had to make? I bet you learned. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. You're messing it all up again. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important that was for me? I'll never get another opportunity again. Everything was riding on this. Well, I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. What? One of our professors is like 4 or 5 older than me. He's never heard that song until yesterday. Can't be that hard to just...
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success.
No, no,
the
Coda,
answer for
no.
Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Oh no, Coda.
But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Oh, I figured he got in prison for copyright infringement. Mobius trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Okay. Eyes are closed. My eyes are closed, chat. Yours might not be, but mine are. I don't know. I can tell the screen is bright, but I can't see it. I'm just randomly pressing buttons. Like WASD and moving the mouse and clicking. What? Did I die? Okay, I think I died. I'll just hold W,
You should
maybe?
probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
I don't want to do that, though. I'm gonna figure this out my way. I'm gonna keep my eyes closed. There's no footsteps. There's no sound or anything. Wait. When I did that... No. This isn't doing anything. I thought I would found a pattern. Okay, one more try. What if I just hold W forever? Is this doing anything? Am I getting closer to anything? Okay, I guess not. I'm opening my eyes. What's going on? Captain, what can we do? Can we do anything? What's going on? Please don't let this be forever. Oh shit! I'm bursting with creative energy. My eyes are open now. What's going on? Please don't let this be forever. The only way to stop is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. I can't.
Like I said, I was
draining
getting
me.
concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his
I
work
can't
has
figure out how to
potentially
say
stopped
the
being
thing.
an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more
I'm
distant
stuck
than
in
usual.
it.
Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Oh my god. No, I get that so much though, because it's like when I was writing when I was doing the Fallout video, I kept finding myself in these ruts. Like, I would tell myself, don't tell anyone that you're making something, right? Because if you tell people that you're making something, there's an expectation that you have to rise to. Even if no one gave you that expectation, you just did it to yourself. Like, you got yourself in your own trap. Or if you talk about something, then you're less likely to complete it, or something to that effect. Everything like that, right? That was the big problem. But what would end up happening is, like, it didn't matter anyway. That didn't matter. The Fallout video isn't going to happen now. The fucking Under isn't going to happen now. Paintings, I guess I finished paintings, but sometimes I feel like I only finish paintings just because I don't know, someone else depended on me, because they were gifts. But they never depended on me. And that was, like, easier to complete, too, maybe. I don't know why I was able to force that. But when you do that, you don't have any motivation to complete it. But that's just it. I've always felt like I never have motivation to complete anything. Like, you make these great, huge ideas, like I did with Under the Fallout video, and they just never come out. And I couldn't tell you why. I get stuck in my own shit. I can make these chunks with, like, ideas and thoughts that I want to evoke, and really specific things, and I have them all in these balls, and all I have to do is weave the thread through the balls, but for some reason I just can't pick up the fucking needle, right? That's what it feels like a lot. Sometimes I feel like that's what it is when I talk to people, too. It's kind of why I have a hard time expressing myself, I think. I have, like, these ideas, but the needle, it fucking ain't threading. It's not working. And I don't... It hurts more because it's not that I am not having ideas. It's not that I'm not, like, wanting to do something. The door isn't opening. It will not open. It will not open no matter how much I'm fucking smashing against it and retching on it. And eventually I just relent. I'm like, okay, you know what? Door's not opening. And then you move on. And then life's fine. But then guess what? You found another door that you're trying to open. And the worst part is you feel like it cracks open. Maybe you hear it creaking. Maybe the door handle starts to jiggle more. But like, I get it, Coda. I fucking understand. Struggle with getting things out. Yeah, I get that. You gotta wait for the door to open, but another door opens before it does. But the problem is the doors that open aren't the fucking doors I wanted in the first place. I wanted this one because I worked so hard on it. Maybe the doors don't work. Maybe the analogy didn't. Analogies are weird. Somewhat regular until you have what it takes to do the big thing. But I want to do the big thing. The smaller things are harder to do because I want the big thing. I had the idea for the big thing. I can't do the small things. Maybe I can, and I just don't. I get frustrated with it. Analogies are frustrating too. I use them a lot, and I don't know why. I just find I want to explain my hard thoughts in a way that makes sense, but the problem is my analogies will fall apart. I don't know. What is this? Oh, what? Is anyone there? Is that a person? How lovely. Oh, I'm stuck. It's a long time since I've talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. I have nothing left to give to my work. Not that I'm out of ideas. It's just I'm out of gas. What's happened? Did something change? There's this machine that kept me going, and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I know where that is. It isn't far. I need to know why it stopped.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of
Doesn't matter what I
struggle,
say, does it?
frustration,
We're gonna end up there one way or
anxiety,
another.
depression, even.
Deal.
And yet still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
No, I get what you're saying, Millerine. I am reading chat. I recognize this. I don't like this at all, though. There's no way it's this, though. Can you tell me how to do it? First, you have to open the door. Now you have to close the first door. Now, you just press the switch.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
These are just words on some walls. Okay, making games is simple. Why did I feel awful when I said that? I am constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like
Every time I make something, I just
video
never
games
stop creating
are
it.
not worth
Such a
this amount of suffering.
That makes something I feel better about myself.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become
Gonna
angry and
vomit.
frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Oh, that's it. It's fucking hard. I don't know how the fuck I've managed this stream thing. I guess I'm still doing some kind of work. Maybe that's the difference, that I show up and do some work. I don't know why this stream thing has seemingly been easier, despite being more frustrating than writing Under or doing the Fallout video. Those things were fun at first. This is still fun, but there's frustrating parts. I don't know how to use Discord. OBS, I keep not doing things. I keep pushing other things down the way, yet I still show up and I do the stream at least. I don't know. I mean, be like... I intend to be quick. Alright. This might be worse than something just dying in your own head. When my ideas die in my... When Under died in my head, you know, I didn't tell that many people about it. I told a few people, but they never really bothered me too much about it. They gave me some grace, but the Fallout video feels like this. I'm glad people are fucking excited, or people were excited or interested in what I had to say and all the notes I wrote down. When I wrote that intro and I put it out, sometimes Ants says like, oh, you should just watch A Boy and His Dog, and it is a recurring joke, and it's a joke. I'm not upset about it, but there is a level of like, oh god, it's never coming. I can kind of understand this. God, that sucks. And the worst part is you did it to yourself.
And of course, it's the
stopped.
machine.
Your work was keeping us healthy. It was only because of your creation that any of us could make it through every day. Been so alone. Apologize for leaving. Nothing. Alright then. I'll apologize on your behalf. I guess I'm glad that I never had huge crowds like seemingly Coda did, but Or I never had people that weren't understanding. I guess that's the part where I couldn't understand Coda that much, but I can at least... God, that fear fucking sucks. God, this sucks too. They're not even really your friends if there's like huge hordes of them. For me, it's just friends, so it's fine. You know that it'll be fine, but for these, you don't... They're not friends at all. I have bad news. Machine will not apologize to us. But we're gonna keep going anyway. We're not failures. We can just keep going. I can keep this up. I don't want to destroy anything, but I guess the machine... I don't want to destroy the things we made anyway. What? Back here again. Oh, okay. What? What? I'll make sure you're known forever. Is that what you wanted? Isn't that what you're scared of?
So now the work is
Supposed to
becoming
be with others every day
self-destructive.
forever?
And I'll
Seen
tell
in
you,
naked
at the
clarity?
time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
What?
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was
now there's
nothing for him to be
expectation.
afraid of.
But now there's expectation that you put on. You went out and made him feel worse.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem.
You can't fix people.
When they told me
That's
how
not
much they
it
enjoyed his
works.
games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy.
I didn't
So
show those to
beautifully-
people.
Beautifully happy.
Coda didn't.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Okay. Oh, Coda, I get it, man. This is fucking...
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Oh, there's nothing that can be done. It doesn't matter.
This room actually has a maze in it.
What?
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Maybe I can... No! God damn it. That's not the point, though. None of that was the... Coda's mad at you. You fucked it up. You fucked up the relationship. And I don't blame Coda for being upset, honestly. This is not a healthy answer.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? Everything else, the idea was communicated. The idea got communicated to you. He gave it to you so the idea could be communicated to you. Even if the prison, sitting in the prison for an hour, doing chores forever, didn't make sense in like the traditional sense, he did this for you so the idea could be, or the people he shared it with. So you know what? Yeah, fuck you. The point of the maze is that when he made it, it's supposed to be frustrating for everyone. Because you're just gonna share it, right? Because the idea isn't just between you and Coda anymore, right? You fucked him up. He opened up and you decided, actually no, I'm going to show this to people because you thought you knew what was good, and instead...
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Coda made something with an idea in mind, with a feeling. Maybe if Coda wanted to release something, he'd release it to an audience that got it. But you just kind of you just kind of tossed it out there. The meaning got lost. I don't think... Maybe I have made something like that before, but this is something, while I can understand, I think I get where Coda comes from, even if I haven't had this happen before. But it definitely was a violation. This is like, let's say someone stole money out of your wallet. And so to punish them in the future, you leave your wallet out with a fucking bomb inside of it. Because fuck you, you're just gonna do it again. I gave you a chance, and you went and you did this. You dick.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely. Just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
I understand the narrator's perspective. You feel bad because you hurt someone, you can't fix it. I 100% get that.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game?
I get that, man.
I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
I feel like I've probably been on both sides of this interaction. I definitely have been. And it fucking hurts. It hurts everyone involved.
I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Okay. That's different.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
You know, it sounds silly. Pink's a weird color to choose, huh? Maybe it's just because it splashes out from the background. I'm not gonna narrate what my thought is, but... I don't know.
Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Why did you make this? Why did you release this then? Why would you make this if this Coda person is real? Because surely you'd understand at this point that you fucked up, right? Why would you sell this? I hope you'll explain to me why, because frankly, you sound
I don't think
like
I
a
ever
prick.
told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
The games were never for him. The games were just thoughts. The creations are just thoughts. Thoughts that aren't really ready to be shared to everyone. For one reason or another.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You selfish fuck. Wait, what? What? What?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Did he literally put up the lamppost or figuratively? God. No, I can get where Davy's coming from, even if I'm frustrated with him. I've gotten this. I've given this. It's necessary, but holy fuck. Maybe I didn't get Coda. Maybe I got close to understanding Coda, but I didn't. Maybe I'm actually Davy in this scenario. Maybe I'm actually Davy in this scenario. Maybe I'm actually Davy in this scenario. Maybe you just wish that you're someone that's not you.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And
no!
So a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry.
No.
I know I screwed up.
No.
If I apologize to you truly and deeply, Will you start making games again?
No, it doesn't work like that, man.
Please.
I know what
I
you're
need to
thinking.
feel
It
okay
doesn't
with
work like
myself
this.
again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in.
It's
I mean,
getting...
is something wrong with me?
Oh my gosh, no.
Because I know that I did an awful thing,
no.
and I'm doing it again right now. Like I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again. Like
I know,
I'm an addict.
man. I know.
There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
It doesn't
Please,
matter. No.
start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete.
Man.
I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was.
No.
I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself.
It doesn't
Please.
work. It doesn't work.
I'm
it doesn't
fading.
Work. It doesn't work.
And all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It looks a lot like Union. I don't think it is Union Station, but it reminds me of it. Just a little bit. Maybe a lot of it. Maybe all stations look this way.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Yeah. You just think that maybe that's what you need, right? Because, like, it feels good when you hear the affirmation, but, like, it's not what you need. And when someone like that just... fuck, Davey. Oh my god. Maybe it's wrong to assume that you're anyone in this story, right? I don't know. Fuck.
Solution.
Fun little source thing there.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed.
Why would you...
Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Yeah, this is just the limbo after, right? Because, like...
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Yeah, no, because, like, yeah, you can only really cope and say, yeah, it's for myself for so long. Maybe it is, but holy fuck, what a hard concept to really, like, incorporate when you just do things for yourself. You know? All my creations under the Fallout video, everything from painting, everything. Even if the paintings never leave my room, I've shown people them once. Everything you do, everything I make yeah, it's for me, but it's also to show other people about me. It's still external. And you wonder, can't it just be internal like everyone says it should be? Do it for yourself? But no. It's so hard. Because you want someone to see it. Or to care.
What now?
I don't know what now.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna...
That was the phone.
Okay.
From the start. He said he was gonna be here. But that was me, and I'm him. I stopped looking for the 3 dots. Oh no. Oh, it comes back around, okay. I was trying to crouch jump because I know it's in source, but... Up. You know, it's... We're back at the station. We're just riding around. I guess it's taken time, but... Just kind of feels like a haze. The Tesla coil. So what do you think? Is it gonna kill me, or will I get a better view of this situation? You gotta throw your body in it to turn it off, right? So what do you think? Do you just fall over and stop? Do you die? Do you get a better grasp? Because I'll be honest, I think I'm gonna die. But no. It's just like I Huh. It's all a mess, right? You don't want it to be, but it feels like a mess. It doesn't feel like a Wednesday, no.
Turn back, turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave, let me keep going.
Like mouthwashing. Okay, you found the toothpaste.
Cave goes for miles and miles and miles, and you're so tired, but I know that you're strong.
This was nice.
So turn back.
I'm not happy with how this ended, though.
Turn back.
But that's kind of how those situations go. You're never really happy with how it ends. It just kind of does. And you get better. You don't get it, but that's how it goes. Wow. I need a 5-hour long YouTube video that explains this in detail. I imagine it wasn't supposed to end happy. I'm curious why someone told me to play this game. The person that told me to play this game, it was a while back. I can't remember who it was or why. I have reason to believe it had something to do with a conversation that I had about my writing of Under. Or like my desire to create something. I can't remember why. Who recommended it? I don't know. Well, thank you guys for coming by. This is a different stream. It was good though. I appreciated it. You know, this isn't like the funny Yakuza or the Pizza Tower, but I had fun with it, and I think I want to have streams like this sometimes. I don't know why this was necessary, but I will say this, I really, really hope, if Coda is real, that it's okay. Yeah, SoundThink, I haven't felt this way since the first time I played Always Sometimes Monsters. And that was a long ass time ago. Or Katawa Shujo. Funny enough. Anyway. I don't think editing this would do it justice for an upload, so this is probably just going to be a complete raw upload. I'll get on it, I guess. Thank you all for watching. Do not play mouthwashing directly after that. That's too much in a short time. Oh, is mouthwashing a similar experience? Interesting. Alright, well, don't worry. Next Wednesday we're going to have something a little more lighthearted. Thanks, Mel. Thanks, SoundSync. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'll upload this to the YouTube. Good times, guys. See you Monday for Funny Yakuza.